Welcome to the More Feminist Millionaires podcast. This episode, I am interviewing Emily from Bravely Human, and she's going to teach you how she built this dream business where stuffed animals are in her Instagram stories pretty often, a big part of her marketing strategy. And she makes enough money to go to Taiwan every year for multiple months and contribute to causes that she cares about, like Gaza. So listen in on how to build a unique business that you love that totally fits who you are and the lifestyle that you want. Yay! I am very excited to talk to Emily, who has been a client of mine for 3 years and continues to be a client, and who is an amazing genius at bringing together activism and softness and cuteness and gentleness. So I'm really excited to introduce you all to her, and you're going to get to know all about her and her gifts. But let's start with how we got connected, Emily. Why did you want to work with me? What drew you to me? Let's start at the beginning of your story.
Yeah. When I found you, I was about like a year into starting my therapy private practice. I had just, done a big career change into therapy. And I think when I found you, I was doing okay in my therapy practice. But I was still battling a lot of like old shit that was being brought up due to having my own business, like fears of not being good enough, or fear of failure, fear of rejection. Perfectionism was like still a big deal for me, imposter syndrome. So I was just like, I want to operate my business from a more joyful and colorful place where I feel like I can be more free and be more like, yeah, just be more myself, in general in my life as well, instead of approaching my business and my life from this like rigid and like gray perfectionistic place. So
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, Bryn seems like a great person for this because you've obviously gone through your own journey of overcoming that. And yeah, I think at the time I also had this like small piece of me that I was like, ooh, like a spark. I was like, ooh, maybe I can like explore what authenticity means to me. Because I used to think authenticity was a white people thing. But, but during this therapeutic art workshop that I attended by my friend Linda, something that surprised me was that I drew like this rainbow heart that kept getting bigger and bigger. And I realized that something I really needed as a kid was permission to be me. So I think I wrote in my application to work with you that I also wanted to explore, yeah, just getting to be myself.
Yeah, so good. And did you have like concerns or worries back then, like before we started working?
Yeah, I think um, I had only had experience getting therapy support in the past. So obviously your service was new to me. Um, but it was also kind of what I was looking for because I was at a point where I was starting to dream about what else I could do outside of just my therapy work. And so I wanted to experience something different. And yeah, it felt like, I think my intuition just felt like it was what I needed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, this next question is kind of big, but we'll just see what comes. But because we have worked together for years, but what has been your favorite part of doing this work?
Mm, there's a lot, but I think maybe like three big pieces come to mind. Um, First one, I think the biggest thing is I think you really helped me to get into like embodiment of the things that I wanted to become. Um, just yeah, like I think in the past, mm, like people would tell me, or even like my therapist, like would like encourage me to be more easeful and less like capitalistic in my thinking, less like colonial um, in the way that I thought about things and in my demands of myself. But I think I only knew those things cognitively. And after working with you, I started to actually embody um, my values and, yeah, embody a more free and, yeah, just like a more liberated way of being. And um, I think another piece was the inner child healing, which I had already been doing before as well. And I also did it in my work. But being able to, yeah, keep experiencing it on a deeper level was really helpful. And all the new projects, the new offerings that you helped me to bring to life. It was really cool because each of them ended up healing my inner child because it was exactly like what I had always needed. And now I was like bringing it to other people and also the process of launching and marketing myself and connecting with people became a way of like healing myself and my younger self as well. Which I guess we can get into more. Yeah.
Yeah, like why don't can you tell us about one of those projects, whichever one you want to talk about, and like give it a
Mhm.
little bit more detail about these projects you've been working on?
Yeah. So in 2023, I launched the Soft Humans Care Circle, which was a group offering that was not therapy and basically, well, I guess I'm fast forwarding to the Fairyland stuff, which we haven't talked about yet. But yeah, I think when I launched the Soft Humans Care Circle, I did it in a way that was really embodying what I was preaching with the group, which is that like you get to shed this burden of having to be strong and having to be perfect and not needing help. Um, and so even as I was launching and I was like feeling really nervous and really vulnerable, I would talk about my process and my struggle. Um, and you really encouraged me to keep doing that instead of, holding up this front of like, oh, I'm so excited to launch, blah, 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 and pretending like I wasn't nervous at all. Because that wouldn't actually be very soft human of me.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that was very healing for my inner child who had to like perform and like hold up appearances for the family. And even the process of me creating the web page, the sales page for that group, I ended up um, letting my inner child kind of like drive that process.
Mm.
And so it became this like really cute and creative page. And I think I had some like teddy bear mascots on the banner. And just like it was just such a playful and fun process. And yeah, I remember sharing on an Instagram story that creating the web page felt like a project for my inner child. And instead of shutting down her ideas, which was what happened to me when I was a kid, I was like, I'm not going to shut her down anymore. I'm actually going to uplift it and, show it to other people as if I'm really proud of her.
Yeah, and then since you marketed it that way, who ended up being attracted to it? What type of person was like attracted to that style of marketing?
Yeah, it was the exact person that needed softness in their life, the person who wanted to stop having to hold up a front and wanted to just be more free and um, yeah, just like be human instead of having to take on these heavy roles. And they all like were, I really like resonated with all of them. I think we all had something in common. So it was also really cool to show up in the group as like just another human who gets it instead of like as a
The expert.
pedestalized
Yeah,
figure. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So good. Okay, you said there were three things. What was the third? Do you remember?
Nature.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, I think the type of person who would really love like your work is not someone who is like looking for like a quick fix or like a make 100K in 60 days type of person. Um, I think, yeah, you really helped me to um, create the foundations for sustainable growth over time. And yeah, I remember like some of the metaphors that you would share with me about apple trees and how um
It
wait,
takes,
can you share that metaphor?
yeah, it takes 7 years before an apple tree bears a single fruit. So sometimes when we're building our businesses, it feels like you're watering it, you planted the seed, you're warding off the pests, you're doing so much work to help this tree grow.
Hmm.
But after the 7 years, the apple tree will produce fruit for the next 40 years. Usually, these are just averages. So it's like it's all of this intensive input up front. And then once it's
Yeah.
7 years old, year after year, you still have to water it, right? It could die if you stop taking care of it, but as long as you care for it, it's going to bring crops of apples every year. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think sometimes what we forget about our businesses is that, yeah, it can feel like, oh my God, nothing's working or it's not working as fast as this person, this
Hmm.
person made 100K in 60 days. Why can't I?
Yeah.
Um, but, I was prepping to talk to you today and I was just thinking about like, you in your 40s and you in your 50s. And I don't know
Hmm.
exactly what you're going to be doing, but my guess, and tell me if I'm wrong here, is that you'll still be doing at least the essence of the soft human or the fairyland work of this
Hmm.
decolonization via softness and humanness and teddy bears.
Hmm.
And, and
Yeah.
just like thinking about that, I don't know, it touched me to think about you at like 57,
Hmm.
sharing like whatever iteration of the work.
Yeah, for sure. I think there were so many times where like you caught me with like that capitalist urgency and scarcity thinking. And I'd be like, oh, like I should have done this by this time, or like, oh, I had wanted to launch this group by April, and then now it's like June, and or now it's like, so close to April, and I still don't feel ready yet. But yeah, like you helped me to realize that when I work at the pace of nature and my body and my seasons, right? There's like seasons of slowness and needing rest, and there's seasons where like I'll naturally be creating more and be more active in my like content creation and whatnot. And when I can take my time to like lay down the roots and um, like, yeah, go at a sustainable pace, I end up showing up as who I want to show up as. Versus if, let's say, I had rushed to launch my group thing by an artificial timeline, I would have showed up frazzled and not fully emotionally available and not fully like happy to be there.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it helps me to grow more sustainably in my business and to be more present and to like have a better time, just like have a good time. Yeah.
More fun too.
hmm
Okay, this next question too, we'll see what happens. What's the biggest transformation you got from working together?
hmm There's so many. Yeah. Let me think. Every year that I've worked with you so far, I've launched a new offering.
Mm.
So, yeah, we just talked about Soft Humans, which was 2023. And
Hmm.
then, okay, I think I should wait, backtrack a bit. So, I think at the end of 2022 was when we did the vision exercise. So,
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I had come to you saying, like, hey, I'm at a point where I'm ready to dream about like what's more out there. What is this exact thing that I want to be doing that's not therapy? And then you're like, yeah, maybe we can do a 10-year vision, um, and then like work our way back and yeah, figure out what it is that you want next. And yeah, when we did the 10-year vision, my brain kept like going in a different direction. So instead of a very realistic, like you wake up on a Tuesday, this is what happens in your day, this is what you're doing for work. My brain went to this like magical fantasy, like fairyland in the clouds, where capitalism and colonialism do not exist. Um, and you're like, yeah, let's follow this, and follow this instinct and keep building out this vision. And so yeah, what ended up coming from that was this beautiful world, um, that I later realized is basically just the world that I want to live in.
Mm.
And when we reflected on its essence and what it represents, um, softness, playfulness, community, magic, stuff like that. Um, in the later years, I ended up like creating offerings inspired by Fairyland.
Right.
So soft humans actually came directly from the vision because in the vision there was like a circle of people who were by the ocean, I think. And yeah, it was just like really beautiful how people could just come to the circle and be held in whatever emotions they were having and joy, sadness, grief. And there was just like infinite permission to just be. Um, so yeah, that group came out of this vision. And then in 2024, I created the Inner Child Playdate, which again also came from my vision, because in the vision there was a magical playground where adults were leaping around so joyfully, um, in a and they were just like not concerned about surviving capitalism. They were just truly enjoying their life, and it made me so emotional. There was laughter. I think they were playing with like whipped cream graffiti or something. Um, so I was like, oh, how can I bring this playground to life? And it ended up being in the form of a virtual play date. Um, and then in 2025, I launched some experimental Fairyland sessions, also inspired by our work together, um, where, yeah, people get to create their own version of Fairyland. And um, we would work on like embodying that world into existence in their lives and in their communities. So, yeah, I really think you changed my business and my life. Um, because all these offerings felt like an expression of my creativity and like the work that I really meant to be doing. And through all of those experiences, like I found who I am, and like it changed how I show up in my friendships, in my community, because I'm more myself. I'm more at ease as well because I'm not like, yeah, I think I'm less anxious and less performative. Um, because you always encourage me to embody like what I want to see in the world. So yeah,
Hmm.
I think that was a very long answer.
No, it's great. I mean, Fairyland has been this like guiding, it's this guiding force in the work that we've done and in your
Hmm.
life, right? It's this world that is all pastels and has like cute animals
Yes.
associated with it. And I think a lot of the work that we're doing is bringing Fairyland from the clouds where it lives and bringing it into your body and then into your life, into your friendship,
Hmm.
into your business.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
And
like, yeah.
yeah, and every time that I'm accidentally trying to use the old world's building blocks to build Fairyland, you're like, that's not really Fairyland
Hey,
of you. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right.
right.
Okay, and then you would guide me to, yeah, embody the energy, and through like creative and fun ways,
Yeah.
whether it's with like consulting my stuffed animal Baymax
Yeah.
or consulting like the characters on my Fairyland vision board. Or you would ask me questions like, where in Fairyland
Would this take
would
place?
this project be happening and how would they approach it? So, yeah, that was super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what would you say has surprised you most about this work we've done together?
I was really surprised by how, quote unquote, like business coaching, which I feel like is part of what we did together. I was so surprised at how business coaching could be so magical and like just like imaginative. Yeah, I remember telling my friends about a session that we had, and I was like, yeah, so like we had this we did like parts work, where at that time it was like this like part of me which was internalized capitalism that's like in a business suit and it's like really stiff, and that person's like, oh, like I do Excel and Excel spreadsheets and like, oh, but we need results, blah blah blah. And then we had that Excel person speak to someone from my Fairyland. Um, and then it was like such a powerful session. Um, and I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't find this in like conventional business coaching. I think this is really the deeper work that most of those spaces don't touch on. Because most of the those spaces, I think, just touch the surface of like, oh, this is the strategy, or this is how you can create more content and this is how you can like get more views or whatever sales pipeline, how to convert. But what we were doing was changing like my own relationship with showing up, my own relationship with myself, which would impact how I market myself. And, when I can heal the colonized parts of me, then yeah, I can actually embody what it is that I want to preach. And people can feel that.
Yeah,
Like people can feel when you're being congruent.
sure.
Yeah. And yeah, there have been many times where people responded to my congruence. And I was so surprised that yeah, even those who didn't end up buying from me, or didn't end up joining my group, for example, would like message me saying like they were so touched and moved by the newsletters that I was sending out about my process, um, and how they felt like inspired. Um, and yeah, so
Yeah,
I
it's
forgot my train of thought.
no, but I think it's beautiful. It's like your sales emails or your marketing emails were like healing people. Even if they
Yeah,
decided, you know what, I can't join for whatever reason, it was like they were being touched. They felt your heart in it, or they felt the fairy bear magic of it, or they felt something that resonated with them. And so,
yeah,
as opposed to just being like, oh, Emily is spamming me, it was like, oh, I love that Emily's launching because
yeah,
I'm getting inspired, even if I'm not joining this round.
yeah, yeah. Like I remember I wrote a newsletter just talking about how selling is really uncomfortable for me, especially as an Asian woman who's like not supposed to take up space, not supposed to like feel good about herself, and um, not supposed to like be loud and whatever. And so, like, when I would go to try to promote my offerings, like, these thoughts would come up, these oppressive thoughts of, like, oh, people only want your free content. You're going to annoy them if you, like, keep talking about your paid product, or, oh, like, are you sure this is good enough? Like, um, so I would, instead of letting those thoughts, like, take over and stop me from showing up, I would just like show up and talk about those thoughts that I was having, which was what you often encouraged me to do. And so, yeah, and then I would be like, yeah, I'm having this struggle, and I'm also reminding myself that I can survive the discomfort of showing up anyways. And with each time that I practice doing it, um, I'm like building my tolerance, and um, people connected with me because I was sharing vulnerably. Um, and yeah, like people could relate.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing like the part about the spreadsheet, the kind of very structured part, talking to the softer parts of you and how that was healing. I had a phone call today with one of my business mentors, and we were working on, some of the challenges that I am working through. And basically the message that I got was just like, don't lie. Like, like in my marketing, but in my interactions, in my, every part of my business to just like tell the truth,
Yeah.
be less people pleasing, be less. Because often when I quote unquote lie, it's like, oh, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. Or
Hmm.
it could be like, oh, I don't want to be like too direct with a sales process
Yeah.
because that might like maybe kind of similar to what you were going through with I was socialized like not to sell in a direct way.
Yeah.
These like passive things that are actually kind of manipulative, but like
Yeah.
I was we were socialized into sometimes. Um, and then yeah, she was just saying like this is what I see entrepreneurship doing is it
Mm-hmm.
shows us these patterns in ourselves that we want to heal. And we
Mm-hmm.
like this is like the gift
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship in this way. Of course, you can do it the bro marketing way where you just push and you take Adderall and you stay up all night and
And
whatever.
then you burn out in like
Right.
5 years
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have no business anymore.
Yeah. It's not sustainable mostly, or some people do, win that game, but they're miserable. They have
Yeah.
millions of dollars and they're miserable. But yeah, my mentor was saying like this is what I see entrepreneurship as is like giving us these lessons of things we want to heal
Yeah.
anyways, but like it is this difficult thing, right? Like nobody said running a business was easy.
It brings all the old wounds and stuff that you thought you healed back to the surface.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love that kind of characterization of the work that we did because I think that is definitely the work that I want to do with everyone
Yeah.
is like let's do the thing that's like gonna make your business succeed but also just like make you feel better and make you happier in your relationships because
Yeah.
when you practice doing it one place you're gonna do it in every place.
Yeah. And because when people think like, oh, I want success, like underneath that, it's like you want success because you want to be happy. You want to, have a life that you enjoy that's like, comfortable enough and, like you can do the things you want to do with the people you love. Um, but yeah, some people are quote unquote successful in like a maybe colonial sense or on the surface, but they're miserable and rushed and urgent all the time and anxious. Like, then what's the point of the success? But on the contrary, like even before you reach those, um, KPIs, like you can already enjoy your life right now. You can already go for your walks. You can stop and enjoy the trees in the park. You can, yeah, have fun right now. And that was something that I think I also learned from our time together. Um, and yeah, I wanted to add another thought about telling the truth.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think this was also something that you encouraged me to do. So, for example, when I was launching the inner child play date, it actually was a time, or it still is like a time where there's just so much shit going on in the world, and I was also like, you know, feeling hopeless at times, and also struggling with other stuff in my life. And I think a past version of me would have been like, well, then I can't like, or if I'm gonna do this play date, I have to like show up with a big smile and like um, act super happy and whatever. But it's like, no, I can show up to the play date and, or even in marketing, I can say, we are living in garbage times. And, the past 2 years have been a struggle for me. Um, and so this play date is coming from a place of wanting to create a space for us to nourish our nervous system, for us to learn how to practice joy and rest so that we can be with the realities and the grief of these times. Um, so it's not like an artificial joy. It's like a holding all that is here and creating space also for play. So I think, yeah, when I can tell the truth in that way, it just like resonates so much more for people. And I feel more congruent. So I can market it more often and more like comfortably. Yeah.
Right, because you're not saying, "Oh, come play, everything's amazing." You're saying a lot of things in the world are fucked up right now,
Yeah.
and we literally need play so that we can keep also doing the other activist work or the other good work that we're meant
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. And the Playday itself was a fundraiser for a family in Palestine. So I think it also meant a lot to me to realize, oh, like I can combine something that's so uniquely me, play, and Fairyland and inner child, so all my favorite things, um, with um, doing with contributing to causes that I care about. And yeah, it was just really cool because yeah, it's just very cool.
Yeah, no, I really see like your business transforming from like a more traditional therapy practice into
Yeah.
this vehicle for you to give your gifts to the world, to support the causes that you care about,
Hmm.
live the life that you want to live. So I wanted to talk about how you've been spending a little bit more time in Taiwan and how you've been managing
Hmm.
that with running a business and also taking care of yourself, keeping yourself safe. Can you speak to how that has been becoming a bigger part of your life and business?
Yeah. Um, I think this, yeah, I think I had wanted to spend more time in Taiwan since like, yeah, several years ago. And eventually like made it happen um, during our time together. And um, yeah, I think there was one trip in particular where I was like really stressed out leading up to it. I was really stressed about COVID safety and making it work, and also about other things, which I can't remember now. And there's also a lot of preparation that needed to be done leading up to the trip. And I think I was like, maybe that was the one where I was like concerned about artificial timelines in my business or something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but anyways, like with the support of Fairyland, and you and yeah, like eventually it was okay. And then during the trip, I also kept I think what I did was I journaled with Baymax, my stuffed animal,
Hmm.
because Baymax kind of represents the energy of Fairyland. And I would have these check-ins with him where I'd be like, oh, this is how I'm feeling. I'm like stressed out about this or blah, blah, blah. Or this thing happened with my family and da da da. um, and then Baymax would always like help me process and also help me remind me to embody more softness. And one of the things I ended up doing was creating a system for myself. Um, I think I called it like a 1-to-1 ratio of stressful thing to softness. So if I had a stressful gathering or a stressful outing or interaction, then the next day or the next few hours, I would try to have an equal amount of time where I was just existing and I had nowhere to be. I had no demands of myself. I didn't have to do anything that day. I could just be soft. Um, so that really helped. It made the trip so much more pleasant. It allowed me to be more present when I was connecting with people and when I was just like I was just enjoying my time more because of those moments of softness and that like ongoing commitment to embodying it for myself.
Yeah, yeah, I loved that concept of like, I don't know if we called them like buffer days or like pillow days or like soft, but it
Hmm.
was like a soft place to land. So if it was like a
Yeah.
crazy travel day, building in a day of softness after that.
Yeah.
And it was like, again, taking soft humans or fairyland and like making it practical, right? Because
Hmm.
we can have these visions of being kinder to ourselves, but then if you're on a trip and you're doing stressful thing to stressful thing, it, you know, even if the intention is to be soft, it can be hard to do
Yeah.
without the practicality. So that again was like fairyland coming down into your scheduling of.
Yeah. And it might sound like simple, but I think it was really life-changing to actually, yeah, experience that because, yeah, I realized that when I gave myself spaciousness and when I could slow down, um, anything could be such an enjoyable moment. Like even if I was just like mopping the floor, listening to good music, like I was like, wow, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really happy right now. So I think that's like I needed to experience that so potently so that now, at those periods of times where I get caught up in urgency, I can remember, oh, actually, no, life is like so much better when I let myself slow down. And if I like fast forward to like when I'm much older later on, um, being able to learn this skill when I'm younger, I think helps me to be healthier in the long run. Maybe it'll help me live longer, or maybe it'll reduce or delay certain illnesses. Yeah, we know that stress and being in constant go, go, go mode, if you're like always making these demands of yourself, yeah, you get worked into the ground. And yeah, it's not conducive to our long-term well-being.
Yeah, I remember learning this lesson when I lived at the ashram. So I lived at Yashodra Ashram for a few years. And at one point, I did this 3 month intensive course where it's like every single day you're waking up and doing meditation and yoga practices and journaling and for 90 days in a row and you don't get any days off. So
Wow.
it's very intense. Um, but I remember having this thing where before I was in this course, I was like doing karma yoga, which is like mindful work. So I was like helping with the garden and cleaning toilets and changing the
Hmm.
sheets and doing still doing some yoga and meditation, but it was more on the work side. And we would have to sign up for dinner dishes. That was like one of the tasks.
Yeah.
And dishes would always be stressful on the night. Well, that was my experience because it was like you had worked all day and then at night you're doing the dishes after like a long day.
Hmm.
And when I was on the 3 month course, we would do lunch dishes. And because we'd been like meditating all morning, usually like doing the dishes was like joyful because you're in this like
Yeah.
relaxed state. And in my brain, I was like, wow, lunch dishes are so much more fun than dinner dishes, which is
Mm,
like so hilarious because it's like the same number of guests, the same number of plates. It's actually
yeah.
the same thing. But that experience helped me to start bringing the lunch dishes energy into dinner dishes.
Hmm.
To start to see that, oh, even when I was done the 3 month course and I went back to karma yoga and I was working all day and doing the dinner dishes, I could bring that energy, that soft energy into the work if I wasn't rushing, like most of the pain and suffering of the dishes came because it's like we want to get them done as fast as possible and like
Yeah.
as opposed to like taking a little longer and it's probably only going to take 10 more minutes, but you're
Yeah.
not like sprinting around.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about Fairyland, the Fairyland sessions you're offering now. Like, what happens? Who are they for? What kind of person would benefit from them?
Yeah. So basically with the Fairyland sessions, the goal is to, yeah, help you imagine the world that you want to live in, and it's through a meditative visioning exercise, where we like tap into your subconscious. So people are often surprised at what emerges.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not an actual fairyland. Sometimes it's like a forest or something very like naturey or something very different. And in so that happens in the first session, and then in the following sessions, we would explore topics of your choice. So it can be current struggles or dilemmas, or maybe you're like me and you're dealing with like perfectionism or fears that are stopping you from doing something you want to do. Or the topics could be like just general hopes and dreams that you have. Um, and we would approach it from a lens inspired by your fairyland. So basically, we're applying your own medicine um, to these themes, and um, the unique thing about the fairyland modality, so to speak, is it helps you to step out of your colonized brain and into just more expansive ways of being that reflect a better world. And because of the imagination and the creativity, um, people naturally become resourced and just like more receptive to new ways of being. And it's like fun and playful. And people's fairylands always have a way of being really supportive to them in whatever they need that day. So if you come in with a lot of grief about the world or something, like there can be a space that's created to allow your grieving parts to come and be held. Sometimes we talk to the characters there. Sometimes we do somatic work because that's also something I love. We do inner child healing as well because, yeah, usually if you have a goal that you're working towards, your inner child will probably pop up at some point, being really scared and trying to stop you from venturing into new territory. And yeah, so far from the experimental run that I did, um, the people who've gravitated toward it have been um, people who are, yeah, very like open to like magical approaches, and who are wanting to deprogram from colonial conditioning and are wanting to, yeah, become more of themselves and create offerings or contribute to their community in a way that feels really liberating for them.
Yeah, so great. So it's mostly people who are have some sort of want to make the world a better place point of
Mm-hmm.
view, whether it's fighting colonialism or patriarchy or who, all of the
Mm-hmm.
all of the isms, and who have a challenge that could use a little bit of love and softness
Mm-hmm.
or and tapping in, I think your story is such an example. Like you created this vision in 2022, and now if you have a problem in your friendships or in your, business or in any area of your life, you have this like way that looks at it. It's just like mind bendy kind of
Yeah.
way to like reinterpret the challenges as opposed to just the practical ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like yours is, full of stuffed animals,
Yeah.
pastel, full of nature and art. And then other people's might be totally foresty, like totally nature based, or maybe more
Yeah.
bold colors. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it's like whatever is the refuge is for you will come
Mm-hmm.
through. And then after doing this work with Emily, you'll have access to this resource. And we do have to remember to use the resources that have. I think we all need those reminders. But you do kind of, after they do even, a shorter time with you, they walk around away with this resource that they can use forever and they can
Mm-hmm.
come back to and build a stronger relationship with. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend working with Emily if this resonates with you, if you are into this kind of magical, but also like deeply practical. It's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's another one of your gifts is like combining magic with practicality.
Yeah, that was something I learned from you too. Because I think, yeah, you have a unique way of working where like you're not exactly a coach, but you're not exactly a therapist either. And you do core energetics, which is what you're trained in, but you also have so much other, yeah, experiences,
Yeah.
personal and professional, that like you bring into your work. So yeah, sometimes in my sessions with you, like we would do somatics to like, yeah, resource my nervous system, but then we would also go into like practical brainstorming, or like you would kind of like coach me at times, or yeah, sometimes it's like we're like dancing,
Yeah.
and then one day we're
Yeah.
like,
We're like dancing, then we're like reading your sales page.
yeah, yeah. So I think I really was inspired by that too, because I had never experienced such a like unique mix. Because I think when I was working with therapists, um, I think when you're working under the umbrella of therapy, like there's always a bit of like restriction. Um, and working with you, I could feel that like you had more ease and more freedom.
Hmm.
So yeah, I really wanted to do that as well in my Fairyland offering, since the point of this offering is to create something that's not under a colonial institution. It's not clinical. It's my aim is for it to be as non-hierarchical as possible. Where yeah, I'm not a therapist in this space. And I like to think of myself as a fairy bear. I remember we had our session where we were like, oh, like what should we call it? Like, if I'm not a therapist, but I'm not a coach, then am I like a I think you threw out like a random name that was like very wild, and then that inspired me to be like, oh, am I like a fairy godmother? But then I want it to be less hierarchical, so maybe it's like fairy bear.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that was also inspired by you because you don't put labels or boxes on yourself either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if people are feeling drawn to you and to Fairyland, how can they get to know you, get into contact with you? What would be like the first step if someone's like, "Ooh, I feel inspired."
Yeah, I'll share links with you for people can sign up to my care letters, which is my version of a newsletter. It's free to sign up, and I share a lot of I share vulnerably about my process, and with the hopes of inspiring people to be more brave, be more human. And I will share about my offerings there as well. And I also have a podcast that I am wanting to get back into recording, but it's called Bravely Human. And my Instagram is bravely.human. So, yeah, those would all be great places to connect with me.
Yay. Yay. Okay, so I will definitely get all the links and put that in the notes below. Well, thank you so much for doing this, coming on, sharing your story. Is there anything else you want to share before we close up this podcast?
Um, I feel like there's always like so much more because you've changed my life so much. But yeah, for now, I really, yeah, I think I would say, if you want, somebody to support you for long-term
Mm.
growth, and for you to, if you want someone to support you in a really deep healing way, that will compound over time in your life. Definitely work with Bryn. And it's one of a kind.
For sure. For sure. And yeah, same with working with Emily. It's very unique, very her. And yeah, if you follow her on Instagram or listen to her podcast, you'll get to know her even more. And then you'll know if she's the right fit because she's amazing. Okay, we did it. Yay.
Thank you.
Bye.